boys and girls, it's Miss Cooper, and this week in math we've been learning about perimeter. We learned that perimeter was the area on the outside of a shape. It was kind of like a picture frame, and we learned that we added up all the sides to get the perimeter. Today we're going to talk about something different with shapes. We're going to learn about area. So we're going to start with this slide in front of me. This is kind of to help us understand area first before we do anything. A unit square is a square whose sides have a length of 1. So here's the unit square. This side is 1, this side is 1, this side is 1, and this side is 1. Unit squares can be used to measure the area of a shape, which is the amount of space inside of a shape. So this time, instead of doing the outside, the border, we are doing the inside of a shape. To find the area of this rectangle, you count the number of unit squares inside. So remember, this green square is called a unit square. So we simply count these squares: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the area of this rectangle is 10 square units. And it doesn't matter what the unit is, if it's inches, centimeters, feet, yards, it's always going to have the word square in front of it. Square units. All right, so let's practice again. Again, it's important that you read the directions every time you do a slide first. Don't just think you know what you're supposed to do. And so it says, number 1, use the unit squares to completely fill in this rectangle. Do your best not to overlap the squares or leave gaps. So we're going to go up here and we're going to get a square, and we're going to try to put it right along the edge. And we don't want to overlap them, which means we don't want to do that, right? And we don't want to leave gaps like that either. We kind of want them touching the best we can. 2, 3, 4, and it doesn't have to be perfect. 5, 6. All right, so if I counted these square units, I would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I would say the area of the blue rectangle is 6. And then they want to know what our label would be. Is it units or square units? Hopefully, if you were listening, you said square units. So we're going to drag square units up there. Again, when you're solving for area, it's always square units. The next slide, I'm going to model this one for you, and then you'll have another one to do on your own. You're going to read the slide. It says, who is correct? Gina the giraffe and Fiona the flamingo are trying to determine the area of the same sized rectangle. They placed unit squares on their rectangles to find the area. So here's Gina's rectangle, and here is Fiona's. And I want you to think about what I said about when we were placing the unit cubes on. Who is correct? Who did it the right way? And then who needs to try again? So if you remember, I said that I wanted you to put them right on the edges and kind of get them to touch. We don't want to have gaps, and we don't want to overlap them. So we're going to say that Fiona is correct. I'm going to put that correct by her. And Gina needs to try again. That's okay. That's why we practice, right? So now let's solve the area of this rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So in the box, we would type a 12 for 12 square units. On your slides today, you're going to do the same thing for Kurt the cat and Perry the pig, and tell me who is correct and who needs to try again by dragging the labels over and then telling me the area of this rectangle. You're also going to do the same thing for Kiki and Uma, and decide who is correct, who needs to try again, and what the square unit area is. Then for the next part, you are going to estimate the area. So you're going to estimate how many square units you think it's going to take to fill up this rectangle. So I'm going to guess 8. And remember I said it's not just regular units, it's square units when you're talking about area. So we're going to put square units there. And then we're going to actually take the cubes and we're going to fill in this rectangle with our square units. 1. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we want to try really hard not to have any gaps and not to have any spaces between them. So I'm going to drag these over. You just simply click on the square unit and drag it over and put it in place. So now that we have those over there, we're going to count our square units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the actual area of that rectangle was 6. So I'm going to type in a 6. And then again, we're going to choose our label. When you're solving for area, it's always square units. You are going to do that in your slides. You're going to practice this one. And then you have a quilt that Maya has made. Each square in her quilt is a unit. What is the total area of her quilt? So you're going to count all of those square units and then tell me what the total is, and remember to drag over the label. And you will do that for Rex's yard. Alex is going to make a fence for his dog Rex, and you need to count the square units and put how many square units there are in this box. And then this time, choose from feet, square feet, yards, square yards. It's going to be important that you read the story to figure out which unit you need to have. Remember, it should be square. If you have any questions, I'm available on Zoom throughout the day.